Uh, our esteemed teacher, Most Venerable Bulwala Ratanasiri Thero, has just joined our class. So we are all set to begin. Please let me know if you can hear me clearly. Ratanasiri Thero, Reverend Sir, can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you.
All right. So let me take a moment to welcome everybody. If anybody is unable to hear me, do raise your hand and let me know. So today is our 18th Sutta class, and we do have a very informative Sutta in store for you. Our Reverend Sir, our esteemed teacher, is ready. So without further delay, because we have been patiently waiting for the class, I welcome all of you, dear Dhamma listeners. You're welcome to ask your questions at the end of the session. You can also send in your Sutta requests, and we will entertain them in future sessions. So over to you, Reverend Sir, to start our 18th Sutta class. You may also switch on your video, Reverend Sir.
Let's start our Sutta lesson. Today, the Sutta I have selected for you is Nibbediya Sutta. It is in Anguttara Nikaya. The commentary for Anguttara Nikaya is Manoratha Purani. This Sutta, Nibbediya Sutta, was preached by Buddha when he lived in Jetavana Vihara in Sravasti. Buddha addressed a group of bhikkhus at Jetavana Vihara and explained or preached this Nibbediya Sutta. This Sutta is very important because in this Sutta, Buddha explained the circle of birth, how the being continue in the circle of birth, and how to transcend this world, how to transcend the circle of birth. Buddha explained there are 6 phenomena that associate with the circle of birth. These phenomena Buddha introduced as the phenomena that continue the circle of birth of the being. So these 6 phenomena are interdependent. They are dependent originations. There is correlative connections in these 6 phenomena. Buddha explained and analyzed those 6 phenomena as Nibbediya Pariyaya Dhamma. Buddha penetrated and Buddha analyzed those 6 phenomena depending on definitions and variety, and the result. In that way, the Buddha analyzed those 6 phenomena which connect in the circle of birth of the being. Buddha analyzed the result and cessation, origin, and the way towards the cessation of those phenomena. Buddha explained one by one. This sutta is very important because we know there is a well-known popular definition for karma, the teaching of karma. What is karma? The Buddha's very important teaching, karma, doctrine of karma. Definition for karma has been given in this sutta. Ketanahang bhikkave kammang vadami, ketayitva kammang karoti, kayena vachaya manasa. In that way, the Buddha gave the definitions to the karma, so that famous, well-known definition is there in this Nibbediya Sutta. So this sutta is very important. So Buddha addressed the group of bhikkhus and Buddha explained the 6 Nibbediya Pariyaya Dhamma, the 6 phenomena that causes the circle of birth of the being. That means that helps those 6 phenomena help the being to be in the circle of birth. The Buddha explained these 6 phenomena as the Nibbediya Dhamma because they must be eliminated, eradicated to transcend this world, to attain Nibbana. To attain Nibbana, the person must eliminate these 6 Nibbediya Pariyaya Dhamma. In this sutta, by explaining or by analyzing, by penetrating those 6 phenomena, Buddha made use of his very popular teaching of his Paticcasamuppada Dhamma, dependent originations. He made use of that dependent origination, the doctrine of dependent originations, to analyze or to explain the nature of these 6 phenomena which are to be illuminated by the person to attain Nibbana. Buddha take the first phenomena as calm. Calm is the phenomena that tends to remain the being in the circle of birth. So what is calm? Buddha explained, when the being lives in this environment, he takes 5 objects into his mind or the consciousness through the faculties. The Buddha explained the nature of those objects. Now, when we see at an object with our eye, we find different objects in the environment. Now, if we take as example a person as object, there are different persons, beautiful, handsome, or healthy, ugly. In that way, and they are in different shapes and in different qualities. If we think of the sound, we hear pleasant sound, we hear unpleasant sound. In that way, we hear different sound. Smell also same, taste also same, contact is also same. The Buddha explained here what is calm, sense desire. Buddha explained here, if there is a beautiful figure in the doors of eye, then the consciousness combines there, and there arise eye consciousness, but it is not calm. The Buddha says, it is not merely calm. It is not sense desire. It is the quality of the object. The object is beautiful. That is the nature of the object. That is not sense desire, the Buddha says. Buddha explained here. When person looks at the beautiful figure, he identifies it's a beautiful figure. That is not sense desire. It is the quality of the object. It is the nature of the object. If we see an ugly figure, it is not sense desire. It is the quality, nature, quality of the object. So we have to understand what is calm. When we hear the sound also, if it is a pleasant sound, that is the quality of the sound. It is not sense desire. If there is sound, then the dose of the eye is there and the consciousness is there. The combination of this consciousness, object and the door, and there arise ear consciousness, and then it is not merely the sense desire. In that way, the Buddha explained what is karma. Karma, there are now when we think of the person's attitude towards that object, if it is the beautiful figure, if there arise attachment or vitakka in his mind, then there is calm. There is calm. Now you can understand according to the attitudes of the person towards the object, there arise the sense desire. If we look at a beautiful picture, when we are gazing at a beautiful scene, but it is not merely a sense desire. By gazing, if the person form attachments, or if he developed craving in his mind, if he wants to take into his possession of that object, and there arise sense and desire, calm. Then the Buddha explained the origin of calm. Origin of calm. Origin of calm is contact. Origin of calm is contact. When the person contact with the object, due to the contact, this phassa, that is the first step. Contact must be there. Due to the contact with the object, there arise karma. To arise karma, there must be contact. So the Buddha pointed out here, phassa or the contact is the origin of karma. And Buddha explained the varieties of karma. Rupalambana, Saddalambana, Gandhalambana, Rasalambana, Sparsalambana. Rupalambana means when the person looks at the object. If the object is beautiful, then in the doors of the eye, there happens phassa or the contact. Consciousness there comes and there arise eye consciousness. There is eye and there is object and there is eye consciousness. Tinnang Sangati Passo. Rupanta Tinnam Sankati Passo. That means the object and the eye consciousness and the doors of the eye. By combination of those three is called passa, the contact. So to arise karma, there must be the combination of these three that is called passa. Then rupalambana. Then after having passa the contact, the person creates some concepts about that object. There arise vitakka and there arise desire. He wants to take, he wants to have that object. Then there arise rupalambana. And when he hears a sound, eye is there. Eye is there, and the doors of, ear is there, and the doors of ear is there, then ear consciousness is there. Combination of these three, Tinnam Sangati Passo, combination of these three, there arise contact. Due to contact, after the contact, there arise a desire, craving, attachment, then sabdalambana. Then when we consider about smell, when we consider about taste, when we consider about the tangible, when we consider about Dhamma or mental practice, the same thing happened. Then Buddha explained here a result of karma. When person live in the environment or the person is there in the circle of birth, he always has this alambana, rupalambana, saddhalambana, gandhalambana, rasalambana, and sparsalambana. As a result, vipaka. So dosa come, then the vipaka comes. Result, consequence. What is the consequence? Consequence is to be born in heaven or in the human world or in the hell. That means again the being is there in the circle of birth in samsara. When the person taking those alambana, he commit unwholesome or wholesome. As a result, as the karma vipaka, he is to be born again in heaven or in the human world or in the hell. Then to transcend this world, to overcome this world, the person must cease this. Person must cease this karma. People must cease or stop the sense desire. What is the cessation of karma or sense desire? The cessation of karma is the cessation of contact that depend on the dependent origination, the theory of dependent origination. The reason is contact to karma. Those cessations of contact, there is no karma again. So Buddha explained the cessation of contact is the cessation of karma. Then Buddha explained the way towards cessation of contact here. What is the way towards the cessation of contact? So Buddha presented here again the Noble Eightfold Path. That is Arya Ashtangika Magga, Noble Eightfold Path. That is the cessation of the way towards the cessation of contact. This way must be practiced by the person to cease contact. So this, by understanding karma and the origin of karma, the varieties of karma, result and the cessations, and the way towards cessation, that is known as the Nibbeda Brahmacharya, Nibbeda Brahmacharya. The way, the Nibbeda Brahmacharya. Altogether, this is known as in this Sutta, Nibbeda Brahmacharya. Then another and second element in this Sutta, the Buddha explained as the second element, the feeling, Vedana. Vedana, a feeling. Here, Buddha explained, feeling is another element, Nibbeda element that continue the being in the circle of birth. Feeling Vedana, Sukha, Dukkha, Upekha. There are three kinds of feeling. The definition for Vedana is there: Sukha, Dukkha, Upekha. Pleasant, unpleasant, and neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Sukha, Dukkha, Upekha. Then origin. What is the origin of Vedana, the feeling? The origin of feeling is again here the contact. Contact is the origin of Vedana. Now see contact. After contact, there arise Vedana or the feeling. The varieties of Vedana. Samisa Sukha Vedana. The Buddha explained here the varieties. One is Samisa Sukha Vedana. That feeling flavored with defilements. Combined with defilements. Samisa with defilements. That Sukha Vedana, it combines with or flavored with defilements. So defiled present feeling. Defiled present feeling. Niramisa Sukha Vedana. Niramisa Sukha Vedana. Niramisa means without defilements. Without defilements, the person can sense Sukha Vedana or pleasant feeling. Niramisa Sukha Vedana. Like Arahant, they can sense those Niramisa Sukha Vedana, undefined present feeling. Again, Samisa Dukkha Vedana. Samisa Dukkha Vedana. Defilement, unpleasant feeling. Now there again, the defilement is there. With defilements. So Samisa Dukkha Vedana, Niramisa Dukkha Vedana. Undefiled, that is, without defilements, there may be dukkha, but it depends on sankara dukkha. In that way, there is dukkha. It is to be identified in deep sense. There are three varieties of dukkha, pain, dukkha, viparinama dukkha, sankhara dukkha in Pali, you see. Sankhara dukkha is when the person who tries to transcend this world, who practice the Buddha's way to transcend this world, sometimes he has those kind of dukkha, niramisa dukkha, depending on tilakkana, niramisa dukkha vedana, and samisa upekha vedana. Upekha means neither pleasant nor unpleasant. So you can understand it. Samisa upekha vedana and niramisa upekha vedana. Those are the variety of vedana, the feeling. Then result. Result is again to be born in heaven or in hell. That means due to this feeling, because of this feeling, the result is again the person is there in the circle of birth. People remains in samsara as a result of having feelings or vedana. If the person wants to transcend this world, if the person wants to transcend the circle of birth, he has to cease this feeling. To cease feeling, first he has to cease the cause of the feeling. What is the cause of the feeling? The cause of the feeling is again the contact, passion. So, according to the dependent originations, the person must cease contact to cease Vedana, the feelings. And there must be a method, the technique to cease contact. The way, the technique with the pointed out again, the noble eightfold pathway. And then Vedana, then the other Next phenomena is perceptions, sanya, sanya, perceptions. The definition of sanya has been given in this sutta as rupa sanya, saddha sanya, gandha sanya, rasa sanya, sparsa sanya, dhamma sanya. That is the definition for the perceptions given in this sutta. So after feeling, there arise perceptions. That is the perceptions, that is the definition of the perception the Buddha has given. Rupa sanya, sabda sanya, gandha sanya, rasa sanya, spassamya sanya, and dhamma sanya. What is the origin of this sanya? Again, in this sutta, Buddha has given the origin of sanya is again the contact. Again, the contact origin. Then the result. What is the result of there? The result comes according to the identification of the sanya or the perceptions. That depends on the person. Now, rupa sanya, if we take that is objective perception, we take rupa sanya, the way at which the person looked at the object, their result arise. So this depends on the person, depend on the person. If we take the sound, there is a story in one of the sutta, in Sutta Pitaka, Pansilu came to the Buddha and he played violin. The Buddha heard the sound of the violin. Buddha listened to the music, the tone, and Pansilu, who played violin, he also heard this sound. And the person who wanted to play Pansilu in the presence of the Buddha also heard this sound, music, but the way of hearing the sound, it was different from person to person. The way of the Buddha listened to that music is different. The way of that Pansilu listened to that sound is different. Buddha listened to that music in the light of Tilakkana, Anicca, Dukkha, Anatma. But the Pansilu, he heard that sound in other purpose. So, according to the attitude of the person towards those sanya, the variety is there. according to the 6 sensual objectives. Rupa, Shabda, Gandha, Rasa, Sparsha, Dhamma. In that way. That is the variety of sanya. Then result. What is the result? Result is again to be born in heaven or in hell. Because of that perceptions, the person gather merits or sins. Person engage in unwholesome activities or wholesome activities. People form or people does the volitional actions come because of these perceptions. He accumulate the power of come, and he is to be born in heaven or in hell or in the human world. That means again he is the being continuing in samsara, in the circle of birth. Result. Then to transcend this world, the being must cease these perceptions. To cease perceptions, according to the doctrine of the dependent origination, cause and reason, cause and result, or reason and result. So, the person must cease the main cause of the perception, the main cause of the perceptions given in this sutta is again contact, phassa. Now, there is a definition of phassa in Abhidhamma, in Attasalini, Chakkunta Rupi Uppacchati Chakku Vijnana. Tinnang Sangati Passu. That there is dose of I, there is object, there is I consciousness. So the combination of these three, Tinnam Sangati Passu. There is object, there is the door of I, that is the sensitive place of the I, and there is I consciousness. Object is there, there arises the I consciousness. Then these three combine together. Object, I consciousness, and the door of the I. Tinnam Sangati Passu. So this is the main reason, main cause for karma. In one sense, we can say the contact is the main cause or reason for karma. So cessation of contact. Here the Buddha explained, to cease perceptions, the person must cease contact again. So what is the method or the technique of cessations of perceptions? That is the Noble Eightfold Path again. The way towards the cessations of contact is the Noble Eightfold Pathway. Then the Buddha explain the next phenomena. The next phenomena is asrava, asava, defilements. It connects with defilements. The definition is there in the sutta as kama asrava, bhava asrava, and avidya asrava. What is kama asrava? Kama asrava that arise depending on the objects. Depending on the object, there arise kama asrava. If there is craving after the contact, and there arise kama asrava and bhava asrava. Bhava asrava means the person wants to be in the to be born in heaven, or person wants to be born in Brahmaloka, or person wants to be born as a rich human being. In that case, there are bhava asrava is there. He has bhava asrava there, so he tend to be in the circle of birth. And avidya asrava. Avidya asrava, they arise due to the ignorance. Ignorance of Four Noble Truth. Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, Marga. So, due to the ignorance of Four Noble Truth, there arise avidya asrava. That is the definition given in this sutta for asrava. Then origin. Origin of asrava is their ignorance, not contact. Here, the close reason, the closest reason here for asrava is ignorance, avidya. The terms of dependent originations, we start with avidya, avidya patya sankara. So this avidya is arised due to asrava. Avidya is arise due to asrava. So, asrava is arise due to avidya, vice versa. Avidya is arise due to asrava, asrava is arise due to avidya. So here in this sutta, origin of ignorance. Origin of ignorance, origin of asrava is avidya, ignorance. Then variety. Asrava that lead to hell. That is thoughts, defilements, or unwholesome thoughts. They are sometimes the misbeliefs in the person. Due to his misbeliefs, he commit unwholesome. He commits in unwholesome activities. He commits unwholesome karma that lead to hell. So there that kind of ashrava that lead the person to hell. Then ashrava that lead to animal world. The people, some people, they commit uh, unwholesome activities. Due to that unwholesome activities, he is born in animal world as animal. He is born as an animal. So ashrava that lead to animal world. Ashrava that lead to Peta world, Peta loka. Due to his unwholesome karma activity, he is born as a Peta. And ashrava that lead to human world. The ashrava there. That ashrava that lead to human world. So here the ashrava here in the sense that the person forward to continue in the samsara, human world. When the person is born in the human world, that's also continuing in samsara. So here, to be born as a human being, the person must perform wholesome activities. Punya karma, he must do. Here in this sutta, it has been known as ashrava because that punya karma lead the person to be to remain in the circle of birth. So it's called ashrava. Ashrava that lead to human world. That is punya karma, wholesome activities that the person commit to be born in the human world. Then also that lead to be born in heaven or to go to heaven. To go to heaven, we have to commit meritorious deeds like donations. We have to commit all those things to be born in heaven. Then when person again remain in the heaven, here those wholesome activities has been known as ashrava. Ashrava that lead to heaven. That means the person get the person to remain in the circle of birth again. The result is to be born in heaven or in hell. So, according to those karma ashrava, bhava ashrava, and avidya ashrava, the result is to be born in heaven or in hell. Then, cessation of ashrava. What is the cessations of ashrava here? Again, the cessation of ashrava is the cessation of avidya. I told you at the reason of ashrava, there arise avidya. As a reason avidya, there arise ashrava, vice versa. Ashrava avidya. So here, the cessation of ashrava is the cessation of avidya. To cess ashrava, the person must cess avidya. Again, the way towards cessation of asava is the Noble Eightfold Path. Then the next phenomena, karma. Karma is the phenomena. Definition of karma here, that is volitional action associated body, speech, and mind. That is the Chetanahang Bhikkhave Kammang Vadami, Chetayitva Kammang Karoti, Kayena Vachaya Manasa. That is the definition for karma. Then, origin of karma. What is the origin of karma? Again, here, the contact. Now, this is very important. The origin of karma is contact. So it indicates that there is no predetermined elements in karma. There is no permanent element. There is no permanent element like soul in karma. Because this karma arises because of contact. The person lives in the environment, the object is there outside, so there must be a contact or passa to arise karma. So it is not predetermined. There is no determinism in karma. So in this, here it is very important. Origin of karma is the contact here. So this indicates the Buddha's doctrine of karma, the nature of the doctrine of karma, origin, and variety is there in karma, acts in hell. And now, due to the karma, the person, the being is born in hell. And there he has to commit so many pains, lot of pains. In Balapandita Sutta, Buddha has explained the punishments that that are given by the leaders of that hell. Many painful punishments is given by the being who is born in hell. Punishments there. Acts in hell. So those happens due to this karma. So they act in hell, act in animal world. So some people is born in as an animal, then he that animal, the dog, cow, or that animal has to sense or feel a lot of pain due to his life. You can understand what are the suffering and pain that the animal has in their world when they live, animal world. Acts in Peta world. So this karma acts in the Peta world. In Petavattu, there are a lot of stories about the displaying the condition of Petas, the way in which they live in Petaloka, what are the difficulties that they have to face. All happens due to the karma that they committed. Then acts in human world. So the karma acts in human world. The people, the person is born in as a human being and he lives there. So the karma, some parts, some extents, according to the karma, he acts or he behaves. Then acts in heaven. So according to the karma, the person, the being is born in heaven, sometime Brahmaloka, Rupa, Arupa, in that way, he is born in heaven and the karma acts there. That is the variety of karma. Then result. The result of karma comes ditteva ditta dhamma vedini. That result comes in the present world. There are some karma result that comes in the present world. People commit that karma in this world, this present life, then the result is come within this present life. That is ditteva dhamma, ditta dhamma vedaniya. Then upapadya vedaniya. Upapadya vedaniya means the next birth. The people, the being has to face the consequence of karma in his next birth. And then aparapariya, after the next birth, aparapariya, he has to face the consequence of this karma. That is the result. Then the cessation. Again, to transcend this world or to cease the karma, there must be cessation. Cessation of karma is the cessation of contact. So the cessation of karma is itself the cessation of contact. That indicate that the karma is not predetermined. There is no such element in karma. The way towards cessation of karma is the Noble Eightfold Path. You know, when the being enter into Arahant, he cesses every defilement and also he cesses karma, the power of karma. He cesses. So the way towards cessation of karma is the Noble Eightfold Pathway. Then the last term is dukkha, that is unsatisfactory, suffering. In dukkha satya, it indicates dukkha, unsatisfactory. Definition for dukkha has been given in this sutta as jatipi dukkha, jarapi dukkha, vyadipi dukkha, maranampi dukkham, pihi vipayogo dukkho, api sampayogo dukkho, in that way up to Panchapadanakkhandha dukkha, in clinging in aggregates. Panchapadanakkhandha, that is grasping the five aggregates. In short, we can say dukkha is the grasping of five aggregates. So jati is when you born as a human being or goat or animal is jati. Then after that there arise decay, then sickness and death and departure from beloved ones, or association with unpleasant, unfriendly persons, and when you don't have what you want, what you desire to have, you can't. When you can't have them, there arise dukkha. That we again lamenting, pain, and grasping five aggregates. That is dukkha, and that is definition. Now here, the origin of dukkha is craving, according to the Four Noble Truth. Samudaya Satya, craving is the cause of dukkha, origin, craving. And variety has been given in this sutta. Some dukkha is powerful, some are powerless, and some takes much time to cease because of heavy weight. So some dukkha that takes much time to cease. So that is the variety of dukkha. So dukkha, viparinama dukkha and sankara dukkha. In that way, there is the variety of dukkha. Here, in this sutta, it says in this way, some dukkha, the unsatisfactory, they are powerful. Some are powerless. Some take some time to cease, like the sankara dukkha, and it takes some time to cease. Then result. What is the result of dukkha? Get tired, tend to lament, seeks other doctrines, having pratvipaka. That is the result. Get tired. When the person lament or cry or repenting, then he get tired. That is the result. And tends to lament, and he tend to be wept in that way. Then sometimes they seek other doctrines because of dukkha. Because of unsatisfactory, they seek or they search for other doctrine to get rid of this suffering. So they tend to seek other doctrines also. Then pravritti vipaka means when the person live in the world as a human being or as an animal or as a god, he has to face some troubles, and he have to sense some harmful pain, and that way, that is pravritti vipaka. Or he has some pleasant result also. He may have some, he can succeed in his hopes, in his life. In that way, those comes under pravritti vipaka. So the result of dukkha, having dukkha or unsatisfactory result is there. Then the cessation of craving. Cessation of craving is the cessation of dukkha according to the dependent origination. We must cease the reason and the cause, then the result is not there. So after ceasing craving, there is no dukkha to be arised. That is, in this sutta, Buddha explained that again the way towards cessation, the noble eightfold path. That is the middle pathway. You know that I can't explain this eightfold pathway here. The time is up now. Now altogether, this analyzing and understand the six elements that lead the person to be born in the circle of birth, and the way towards the cessation of these six elements is known as Nibbedika Brahmacharya. Nibbedika Brahmacharya, that in other words, that is the noble path that penetrates 36 phenomena continues in the circle of birth. 36 phenomena I explained throughout this sutta, 36 phenomena. And then with Nibbana, it comes 37. Now, following the way towards cessations, that is the noble eightfold path, then the person enter into Nibbana. He ceases his karma, ceases dukkha, and he entered arahanships, or he transcends the world. Now, let me stop the sutta with this. Thank you very much for listening to me. Blessing of the triple gems be showered upon you.
Much merit to you, Most Venerable Abulwala Ratnasiri Thero, for enlightening us on another sutta. If you have any questions, dear Dhamma listeners, this is a good time for you to get them clarified, get answers. You can raise your hand in the Zoom chat, and then I will allow you to unmute your microphone and ask the question. Yes, we do have a question from Meshram family. You can unmute your microphone now and ask the question.
Vandami Bhante. Bhante, my name is Pankaj, and I have a question related to a particular statement you said related to Kamma. Can you elaborate on that, Bhante, that you were talking about Kamma being in mind, or rather your inference was that the Vipaka would be in mind? Is that how I am understanding it correctly, Bhante? Or can you elaborate more on that particular topic, Bhante? As to, I understand how that contact is coming into place. Without the contact, the Kamma won't be able to give us the Vipaka.
Yes,
So
now
we are able to avoid.
Yes, I can explain in this way. To arise Kamma Vipaka, there must be contact first. To have contact, there must be the object in outside, in the environment, where the being lives. Now, the object that have the person to contact. Now think of the object. That object is tend to the meritorious one, or that if the object is wholesome, then the vipaka is the wholesome. Now then the object comes as a wholesome object, again due to the karma that he committed in his former birth. Now, for instance, you are born as good human beings. Due to that, you take wholesome objects. Then the result comes there. That is the way that karma operates. That is not predetermined. It come to operate due to that contact, puzzle. Can you understand?
Yes, Bhante. Bhante, then I have one curiosity with respect to Bhante Mahamoggallana. If he was to avoid that contact, or let me phrase my question differently. Was there a different way, or is there a possibility that he could have avoided that vipaka completely, because he would have avoided that contact completely?
No, that he couldn't avoid that karma vipaka. He couldn't avoid that because he couldn't contact at the moment. Now he was beaten by a gang of robbers. He couldn't see those robbers due to the karma he committed in his early birth. That's why he couldn't avoid this karma vipaka. That is the reason of karma. That is karma vipaka. Now, there are some karma that bear fruit after the second birth. If the opportunity comes, the opportunity arises there, the karma vipaka arises there. That's what happened to Arahant Moggallana. Arahant Moggallana, he couldn't escape from the power of karma, because Arahant also, even Buddha also, they had to face the consequence of karma that they committed in their earlier birth, not in the present birth. In the present, as Arahant, they did not commit any karma, but in earlier birth, they had committed some karma, so they had to face the result, the consequences of result. Some people be born in hell or animal world. In that way, that happens due to karma. people is born in hell or heaven or human world. That happens due to karma. The doctrine of karma, in doctrine of karma, Buddha explained everything does not happen because of karma. That is part of the thing that happened to the human being, not everything. We are interdependent, we are not interdependent on karma. We are not paid to the karma. Karma is one consequence that forces to the being.
Reverend Sir, we do have a couple of other questions. One is, what is rebirth? And the other question is, later in this lifetime and after this lifetime, this is in reference to how the consequences may occur. One is during this lifetime, but a bit later in the future, and then after this lifetime, that is probably at the end in the next lives. So the question is, can you shortly explain with example of karma?
Now, there are karma that is to be resulted in the human world. So there are some karma that can be that can give result in the heaven or in hell or in the animal world. Now suppose when person has committed karma that will give result if he is born in the animal world. Then, according to his former wholesome karma, he is born in heaven. Then that the former karma, it does not give result. It's called ahosi karma, neutral. That's what happened. So ditta dhamma vedaniya, upapadya vedaniya, aparapadya vedaniya. When the person, there is a karma to take result in his second birth, suppose that the person commit karma, then that karma will result in the human world or in heaven, see, in heaven. The karma make result, produce result in heaven, in the next birth of the being. But due to his karma, his former karma, as a consequence of karma, he is born in the animal world. Then that karma won't give any result. It comes neutral. That's how the Buddha explained the result of karma that happens.
And the next question was, what is rebirth?
Rebirth. Rebirth is now, being the person, if you take the person, consists of 5 aggregates: Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. Matter, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. Now, feeling, perceptions, mental formation, consciousness, all together called Bhavanga Chitta, or the mind of the person. When person lives, there arise the stream of consciousness. His mind is the stream of consciousness. One mind arises, and again it takes some objects, and again it dies, and again arises, again dies. In that way, up to the end of the life, there is the change of mind. They are interconnected. It's like a chain. It's a stream of consciousness. The first term of this stream of consciousness is called Patisandhi Chitta. That is the mind, the person, the consciousness, the person is born. When the person is born, the consciousness arises there. It is called the Patisandhi Chitta. Then, after living for some time, a people is going to die. Then, the last consciousness, the change of consciousness, the last term is called Patisandhi Chitta. Sorry, Tuti Chitta. Last change, last term. When person dies, there arise Tuti Chitta, and at the same time, he is to be born there somewhere, and there arise his Patisandhi Chitta, and he start the new birth, new life. The people dies. Now suppose, as a human being, the person dies. When the person dies, what happens? Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. That is mind. Mind goes out. That mind is now becomes Patisandhi Chitta. There, Patisandhi Chitta, because of Patisandhi Chitta, he is born as a human being. The aggregate material, Rupa Skandha, is there remain as a dead body. Now that Nama, that is feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness, all together is the mind or Nama. Then the last consciousness arises in the person of the mind when he dies. that is called Chutichitta, and he is born. There is no intermediate time. That is called Antarabhava. There is no Antarabhava. There is no intermediate, or there is no gap between Patisanchitta and Chutichitta. No, at the same time it happens. Now when you switch on the bulb, the bulb gives light at once. In that way, it happens at the same time. When the person dies, at the same time he is to be born somewhere. And that is the rebirth. Now, after he born, he formed another material, corporality, rupaskanda, and the material. Now, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana is there. We form a new corporality, matter, material, rupaskanda. He is a new being, but not a new one, the former one, because his Tuti Chitta and his Patisanga Chitta comes from that person. But it's not a permanent element. It's not a soul. There is no permanent element there. It is ever changing. And that's how the Buddha explained rebirth. Now I have no time to explain. In Mahatanna Sankhya Sutta, Buddha has explained clearly about the rebirth, how it happens, the rebirth. In my another sutta, I can explain it. That's how the rebirth comes.
Much merit to you, Reverend Sir, and thank you so much for your valuable questions. I hope you got your questions answered, your doubts clarified. We will see you once again next week, Friday, same time, with our 19th Sutta class. There had been one request for a Sutta, so we will try our best to entertain that Sutta for you. Thank you very much once again, and much merit to you, dear Dhamma listeners, for spending almost 1.5 hours on listening to a sutta. Much merit to you too, Reverend Sir. I will end the meeting now.
You are welcome. It's right. All right.